Hello aviators and fellow enthusiasts. Welcome back to the channel Brad Takes Flight. And this week, we're gonna add on multi-engine to our instructor license. If you're new to the channel, my name's Brad. I'm at a Part 141 school, although I'm doing a 61 syllabus for my multi-engine instructor license this week. This last month has been really fast paced, as it's just been rating after certificate after rating after add-on. It just kind of goes really fast at this point. But here we are at the finish line, because once I get this add-on to my instructor license, I'll also be a graduate of the career pilot program here at Blue Line Aviation. So it's a little bit before 9 a.m. right now on a Sunday. This is gonna be my first real official flight. I did pick up 1.1 hours ferrying back from my multi-engine add-on that I got for my commercial license last week. So I still have to get at least 15 hours of PIC time before I can go to my check ride. The goal is to get to as close to 25 hours as I possibly can in the multi-engine aircraft, which is a DA-42. That's because a lot of employers want to see a minimum 25 multi-engine hours on your resume. Now that I'm in the 61 part of the program, it really becomes a little bit more loose as far as like the training and what we're doing while we're up there. You get a little bit more leeway as to what you want to work on, things like that. So the big thing that's going to be different from my multi-engine add-on that I got for my commercial license to the multi-engine add-on I'm getting for my instructor license is the drag demo that I'll have to do for my check ride. So basically you're gonna go through a critical engine out, I believe. Really, you're gonna go from the least amount of drag to continuing to add drag, and then just noting the single engine performance of the aircraft as far as that single engine rate of climb as you're going through the entire demo. So you kind of start full power in one to about 20% to nothing, then you start adding gears and flaps all the way through and just continuing to note, holding VYSE, which for us is 85 knots in the 42. Outside of that, everything else is just the same. I'm just gonna be in the right seat now. It's a beautiful day at Blue Line. It's about 67 degrees outside, scattered at 7,500 feet. Winds are right down the pipe for runway 3 at about 5 knots. So perfect day to go fly. So I'm gonna take off, but I'll let you guys know exactly how the flight goes as soon as I wrap it all up. Went out, pre-flight the plane, everything was good, did all the sumps, all that kind of fun stuff, and then started doing some pattern work. The first couple of laps, everything was just normal. Then on the third lap, we were gonna do a simulated engine out, but we had some traffic incoming, and then the left engine kind of did a little bit of a knock. Didn't seem to like lose any power or oscillate on the RPMs or anything like that. So wasn't really that big of a deal. Just came around, did another landing, and so then on the next one we were again gonna plan to do a single engine, rotate out, and then at the same point again the left engine kind of did a little knock again. It didn't seem to lose any power, didn't seem to oscillate the RPMs again, but just 2 times in a row in the same spot, getting the same kind of knocking, rattling type noise was enough to just call it short for the day. Only got a 0.8 today along with 4 landings, and would really like to get back up there for my 7 p.m. flight tomorrow, because I do have a check ride that's on Friday currently scheduled. So we'll just have to see what happens. This is the only plane right now that's available, so not sure what we'll do if there's something that where this one's just actually out. I guess we'll just have to wait until a plane becomes available again. So as soon as I get more info, I'll pass it along to you. It's Monday evening here at Blue Line. It's about 6:10. I've got a flight scheduled for 7 o'clock. So luckily everything is fine. Turns out it was just like a motor mount that had gotten messed up. So really quick and easy replacement there. So makes a lot of sense, since we didn't see any power loss or RPMs or anything else kind of going off. That there wasn't actually the engine itself, and the rattle and knock that we just kind of heard was actually just the mount kind of being jacked up. So glad everything went smoothly. It's already been up a few times today, so it seems to be working just fine. I can't wait to get up there and test it out myself, Should have about a 3.5 hour flight tonight. We'll see how long it ends up being. Tonight, sunset's gonna be at about 7:28, I think, so about 7:30. So from 8:30 on to about 10:30 is when the flight should end. Those 2 hours, I'll get some night flight time in as well, which will be nice. I'll catch you up on the entire flight as soon as I wrap it up. It's Wednesday, a little bit after 6 o'clock here at Blue Line, and I did not get to fly last night. However, I did fly Monday night, went up, did all of the maneuvers, so steep turns, power off, power on stalls, accelerated stalls, VMC demo, drag demo, engine restart, all the fun stuff. Then we did some landing, so I'm now night current in the Multi as well. So if anybody is needing a ride at night in the Multi, you boys got your back. Unfortunately, I didn't get to fly last night because there were some issues with, I think one of the gaskets is what I heard earlier on in the day. They got that fixed, and then it's like a leak in the hydraulic line, so then they had to get that fixed. And so just ended up canceling the flight last night. With only having one Multi up, it's kind of a good and a bad thing, right? Planes aren't meant to sit around. They do much better when they're flying because that's kind of where they're designed to shine. However, flying, close to 18 hours a day does put a lot of extra like wear and tear on it. You start turning those tack times over a little bit quicker, so we'll see how everything kind of plays out. With that canceled flight, I really need to extend flights tonight. However, it looks like somebody's kind of going over a little bit tonight. I don't know what that's going to mean as far as my schedule, if I'll be able to extend it all. And then I was supposed to have a 6-hour flight tomorrow in order to get enough hours to be able to check on Friday, but that flight's been cut short, and so I just don't see a way that I'll be able to check by Friday at this point. I just don't think I'll have enough hours. We'll see what the plan is while we go along. I'm gonna go ahead, grab something to eat. Looks like my flight's gonna kick off a little bit after 8 o'clock and it's supposed to go to 11. I don't know if my instructor will have any time left in his day to be able to extend a little bit longer. We'll see how it all works out, but I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow since it's gonna be way dark by the time I wrap it up tonight. It's Thursday, just a little bit after 10 a.m. here at Blue Line, and my flight last night was unable to go. We had a left engine fire annunciation as the last flight was wrapping up. Obviously the engine wasn't on fire, but just that annunciation going off and not being able to get that cleared meant the plane was going to have to get grounded. So I'm hoping everything is cleared up today. I've got a flight at 11 o'clock. That's supposed to be a 3-hour flight, and another one at 4:30 for an additional 3 hours. My check ride for Friday is still scheduled. However, I won't have enough flight time to be able to actually do that check ride Friday. I don't know what's going to happen as far as the recheck. There is a tropical storm that is like moving through the area that's going to come through about tomorrow. It looks like it's going to bring around nasty weather for about a week or so. We'll see how that all kind of pans out, but I'm going to be probably 2 flights short of the hours that I need in order to actually go on my check ride. But excited for my 2 flights today. Can't wait to get those started. I've got 2 different instructors, both of whom I have flown with before, and I really enjoy flying with them. So excited to get these flights in today, and I'll let you know how the schedule and these flights pan out as soon as I wrap it up. Just wrapped things up and had a pretty good day, although I only got 1 flight in instead of 2. So my first flight was just a 2.7, was able to get up, did all my stall work and VMC demo and drag demo and just all those steep turns, all the emergency descents kind of things that you're gonna have to do for your check ride. Takeoff landings, single engine takeoff landings. So I got through all of that stuff. Pretty good flight overall. The next guy got in it for his check ride and the transponder went out. So with the transponder ADS-B being out, wasn't able to get back up for my second flight today, which is a little disappointing. So we have to move some things around, and it looks like I'll fly pretty much all day Sunday. Right now is the plan, and then Monday or Tuesday, finish up any flight time that I need with a check ride, hopefully on Tuesday. So finger crossed, that's just kind of how things are gonna work out, but we'll see how things play out in the long run here. So you can definitely tell all the flying that this plane is doing is definitely starting to wear on it. It's starting to struggle to continue to stay up in the air, but hopefully with just as little time as I have left, it will, be able to overcome these maintenance hurdles and we can get to the finish line here because we are so close. So I'm going to continue to review all of my groundwork that I need to review for this weekend, and I'll catch up with you guys before my next flight. It is now Wednesday at Blue Line. Unfortunately, the weather has just been absolutely terrible for the last few days. Had a tropical storm come in from the south, and then one came in from the east, and it's just kind of wrecked everybody's schedule here for a bit, but it is finally getting back around to being pretty good. Today is going to be a good day to fly. I should fly about 4:30. It's about 2:30 right now, so I'm going to get in, kind of review some stuff, go through my flows again. It's just been a little while since I've done any of this stuff, obviously, with all this time off, so want to make sure that I'm still ready to go on everything once I get into the air. And then tomorrow looks like it's going to be pretty nasty, so I'm hoping to be able to get up on Friday with a check ride for Saturday. So things are getting pushed back about a week, it looks like, with all the mechanical issues and the weather issues that we've had. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we can keep this timeline best we can, and both the plane and the weather will cooperate, and I can get this whole thing wrapped up. I'm really excited and thankful to get back up into the air, so I'm gonna go do that, and I'll let you know how it goes once I wrap it up. It is Friday at Blue Line at 10 a.m. and I'm about to start my ground lesson. Go over endorsements and some things like that for my MEI, since I don't officially have an MEI ground in yet. I've done a few ground lessons, but nothing since I've gotten my CAMEL done, and now I'm on into MEI, so need to get one officially done today. I also have a flight at 3:30 that's supposed to last till 11:45, so you do the math, that's like over 8 hours. I don't think the whole time is blocked out in the aircraft, but I think most of it is. I don't think I need all of that time. I think I need about 6 to 6.5 hours, somewhere in there. Having all of that time does make me feel a little bit more comfortable. Maybe we can take a little break, come back in, use the restroom, that kind of stuff, recaffeinate, or, just get some more water, stuff like that before heading back up and continuing out that flight. I'm really on the last leg of everything here. As long as everything continues to go as planned and the weather will hold up, which it looks like it should today, and the plane holds up, fingers crossed, we should actually be getting a second plane back in today. So hopefully we'll get up to 2 planes instead of just 1, which would be great for everybody. Then I should be able to take my check ride on Saturday. So with that being the only things that I need to do before my check ride tomorrow morning at 9:30, I'm excited to go ahead and get started. I'll let you know how everything goes once I wrap it all up. It is Sunday morning here at Blue Line. Wrapped up the ground lesson and the flight. The ground lesson and the flight on Friday went really well. My check ride got moved from Saturday to Monday, so I have the opportunity to, instead of do all of that flight time on Friday, we did about 3 hours on Friday. I've got another flight here today that's going to be about 3 hours or so, and it looks like I may have a warm-up flight that will lead into my check ride that will be at 5 p.m. on Monday. The ground lesson was good. We went through the things that we normally kind of go through in the ground lesson, so kind of asymmetric thrust and what makes a light twin, and a little bit about like just a classification of our specific aircraft with the 42. Then we went into how we decide on what engine's the critical engine using PASS and then SMAC from, so like determining our VMCs. We also did some digging into endorsements as well, which was really good as far as like what kind of endorsements we need to give, what those endorsements look like, and what it looks like to come from like, powered single engines to non-powered, from rotorcraft, all those different type of scenarios that you may get, and how to get somebody into their multi. So once I wrapped up the ground lesson, then of course I went into the flight. Flight went really well. I did some takeoff and landings to start, which was good. It was really needed as well. Really haven't done a ton of takeoff and landings in a while just because of the weather and equipment issues that we've had. So it was good to get some of that practice in. Got up, did all of my standard maneuver stuff. So we did slow flight, power off, power on stalls, accelerated stalls, steep turns, emergency descents, VMC demo, as well as a drag demo and an engine restart. Do have to admit, in the flight, I was struggling a bit to remember some of my flows when it came to like setting up my VMC demo. Most everything else felt pretty good. Didn't really struggle a ton with some of the other things. I mean, drag demo was pretty easy and things like that. It was more just kind of continuing to make sure that I was holding my heading and just continuing that, scan of instruments and not getting too focused on any one thing. I think one of my issues is that I'm always trying to make sure that I'm in that zero slip configuration, so that 5 bank and half brick or half ball, to make sure that you're not kind of going too far off course. But if you have a little bit, I really need to make sure that I'm still, I feel like I check my speed next, but then like my heading and my altitude are the two that I kind of lose when I'm going through my scan. So it's gonna be part of my focus today, is making sure whenever I'm doing my VMC demo, or I'm doing my engine restart, or my drag demo, that I'm making sure that both my heading and my altitude are a part of those scans, and just continuing to make sure that I work kind of a diamond pattern around that, and I don't get too fixated on any one or two instruments. It is an absolutely gorgeous day today, just clearing a million with winds calm, so it's going to be awesome to get up and fly around on a day like today, especially early morning. Feel kind of spoiled after flying all these nights and things like that, so should be able to see plenty and get in some really good work, and I will let you know how that all goes once I wrap it up. All wrapped up for the day. Really happy with the way that the lesson went. Got up, did a few laps, then we went out, did all the maneuvers, felt really good through all my maneuvers, better than I have in a long time actually, just kind of going through everything. My VMC demo, engine out, and my drag demo were all really good. So I was much happier with my control of the aircraft as far as like directional control as well as altitude control. Feel like I did a way better job today on that than I have recently. Was fighting the plane kind of when I was doing laps, holding it off into ground effect a little too much for my landings, and I just need to allow the plane to land. When we got done with the maneuvers, just came back, did a couple more landings. When I did those landings, they were much better hitting my mark and just allowing the plane to land and not trying to fight it off like I do in the 40, just like keeping it up in the air, and you just kind of, let it drag out a little bit differently. So they land a little bit different, and I just need to allow the 42 just to come in and go ahead and land, and be a little bit, not necessarily firm, but just letting the plane come down instead of, trying to fight it off. With that, tomorrow I'm gonna have about a 1.5, I'm thinking, for a warm-up, and then another hour left for my check ride. That should put me right at 25 hours upon graduation, which would be absolutely perfect. So I get all the hours that I've paid for and nothing extra that I have to pay for on the back end. So that's gonna be what I am looking to do tomorrow. Super excited with the way things went. Gonna review my materials, make sure I've got everything up on my endorsements and understanding my critical engine, just kind of running through my ground stuff again, making sure that I feel really confident on that stuff, so that way I can just smooth sailing right through to graduation tomorrow. See you guys then. Well, today is the big day. It is Monday, it's 5 o'clock, my check is in 15 minutes. I am here, ready to go, feel pretty confident, but of course the check ride nerves are always there. With the looming bad weather and things like that, and that urge to wrap everything up and to go home. I am really just trying to ignore all those other external factors and really just focus on the task at hand. I feel pretty solid about all of my knowledge and my ability to fly the aircraft. It's just a matter of execution. So my job really right now is to remain hyper focused on the task that I'm doing, ignore all the externals that are out there, like the approaching weather that may be coming up and going home and seeing the family and all those kind of things, and really just focus in on going through my pass, going through whatever ground he's asking for, right? Going through the maneuver that's being asked of me, and just really kind of focus in on those things and do them at a high level. And at the end of the day, I should be a very happy man. So fingers crossed, say a little prayer, all that good stuff, and I will see you guys once I wrap up this check ride. So as you can tell, I am back at the beach, which can only mean one thing. I've passed my multi-engine instructor license check ride. Super excited to be done with that one. That was the last one, and so I've officially now graduated. Graduation will be here in a couple of weeks, and have the opportunity to see everybody one last time. Wanted to come home, see the family, celebrate with them. It was a really big check ride, really big win. Hit that like button if you're feeling the win as well. Hopefully everybody is getting the same positive vibes that I've gotten so far throughout all of this. I really appreciate everybody joining me on this journey. Everything that I've been through has just been amplified by the great comments and things like that I was left for the most part through this channel, and just can't express enough joy for passing this check ride, as well as all the support that I've received from you guys along the way. So let's talk a little bit about the check ride. Turns out this was probably the easiest check ride that I've done to date. I think one of the reasons is this is the last check ride. I've done so many of them at this point that I knew exactly what to expect. On top of that, all the knowledge that I was basically being tested on was things that I already had a foundation with. I mean, that first time that you're going in to get your CFI, you haven't really done endorsements before. You're doing CAMEL for the first time. You really haven't talked about multi-engine aircraft and their aerodynamics before. So the fact that I've already done those two big kind of things, it just made it so much easier. I mean, the check ride is going to consist of going over the multi-engine aircraft, and then also going over the endorsement side, which is the fundamental difference between your CAMEL and your multi-engine instructor, is going to be those two things. Now, there also is a little bit of a drag demo that you have to do. That's a new performance maneuver that you're doing inside of the aircraft, but for the most part, I mean, everything else is the same. So went into the check ride, felt really solid, but at the same time, you got a little bit of the check ride nerves, but not nearly as much as I had before. Went through endorsements, just kind of how we get different people with different licensing to different places, both private and commercial and powered, non-powered, those type of things. Then also went through a couple of different things with single engine operations, and also did runway incursions, which is another big one that you want to be aware of in that situation. So that was basically it through the ground, and then went up, did all my performance maneuvers. Everything went super smooth. Did a 1.1 on that check ride, so was able to wrap it up pretty quickly, and obviously I'm extremely excited for the results and happy with where I stand now. Where does that leave me with my totals? Instead of just doing a weekly update, this is going to be a final program update. So I'll put all the numbers right up here so you guys can check them out. Excuse me while I read these off, because there's a ton of them and I'm not going to memorize all of these. So my total time is 197.4. My PIC is 139.3. 3. I did 54.6 hours of cross country. I got 50.3 of simulated instrument, another 6 hours of actual instrument, 18.6 of night hours. I got 5.8 of solo, and I finished my multi with 23.6. So those are all of my hour totals. I also did a bunch of landings and approaches as well. So I did 342 daytime landings, another 37 nighttime landings. I did 106 instrument approaches and 18 holds. So that is the entire program, the total, everything's wrapped up. The only thing that I wish is maybe I would have gotten to that 200-hour mark and maybe gotten to that 25 on my multi-engine, as that's kind of a set minimum for things. So now I'm 1.4 away. Unfortunately, even though I paid for the 25 hours, Blue Line doesn't allow you to come in and do any more additional hours after you graduate to like pick up that last 1.4. So, I mean, it is what it is at this point, right? So once again, really happy with where I've finished things up at. And now the big question is, what's next? So I'm already applying for some CFI jobs, including one at Blue Line. I've got applications that I'm putting out kind of everywhere, and that's kind of the next step for me personally. But what about the channel? What I'd love for you guys to do is leave me some comments and tell me, what do you think I should be doing next? What content would you like to see as I continue to go forward, as I'm working through the job process? Do you want to see what the application processes look like, what interviewing is like, things like that? Let me know in the comments down below. But next week for sure, my plan is to give you a final kind of reflection video. I did just finish, and so I don't want to be so quick to do a reflection video. I really want to take a little bit of time and do some personal reflection and look back on all of the work that I've done, things like that, before I just kind of throw out my final thoughts and recommendations and that kind of stuff, to make sure that what I'm saying is going to hold true for everybody. So if you want to see that video, you'll be able to check that out right here. If you want to see the entire playlist and you're just coming in, you can check out everything that is Blue Line right here. And of course, you can always click that subscribe button by clicking right here. Thank you guys so much for all the support through this journey. And as always, aviators, keep that grass off your wingtips.